Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hi ladies, welcome to another episode of the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr, and in this episode, I want to really dive deep into how to tap into your full financial flow in your business. So for me, money mindset is something that's just always been part of my journey. Like since day dot, I had a real awareness of money from a very young age. I know a lot of kids don't even know about anything to do with money until they hit teenage years. And their parents are like, oh yeah, by the way, you need to get a job. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not paying you pocket money anymore. And they're like, what? That was absolutely not my journey. I was, I had a lot of trauma around money from an early age, and I was homeless, been homeless multiple times throughout my life. And I call myself like the comeback queen, because for me, done is never done. Like there is always more you can do. You can always come back bigger, better, and stronger. And not every rags to riches story is a rags to riches. Sometimes you end up back and back again before you really learn the lesson. So it's something that continual evolution is something that I have just has been part of my DNA and identity since a very young age. And I was reflecting on this for several reasons. So first of all was I basically had a really beautiful in-person meet up with two of my success sisters that I absolutely love, other women in business that I feel super aligned to, really get it in terms of my values and all the things. And I was talking with them about just, naturally about a lot of the stuff that I've got going on and the clients that I feel really passionate about and the stuff that I'm working on and And they made some really insightful observations around you don't talk about this enough in your content and in your episodes. And as much as I'm known for wealth creation and money mindset, this isn't a buzzword for me, and something that I just thought that will sell. I'll start talking about that. That feels good. It really is something that has been part of my DNA since a young age. And it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense, and it makes all the sense, because I didn't have anybody around me ever taking me under their wing, that exposed me to new ways of thinking, other than the fact that I always had. Part of my brand story is the fact that I had a bit of a rich dad poor dad experience growing up, in that I lived with certain members of my family who were definitely struggling financially and had a very negative view of money, and then I had a different half of the family who were perhaps more comfortable, more stable, and were therefore money's no big thing. So I definitely had that kind of awareness, but in terms of my drive, my focus, my natural ability to spot opportunities to make money, to save money, to be really savvy with money, I don't even know where that came from. It just came very naturally to me. And I was right. So how this has also come about is because I was writing a chapter in my book this morning about this. I woke up thinking about the conversations that we'd had a couple of days ago. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? This is such an integral part of who I am as a person. And that filters out into my clients and the work that I do with them, and my masterminds, the 7-figure sisterhood. That's all about wealth creation, and it's about that big picture thinking beyond your business and the next cash month that not a lot of business coaches talk about. They will teach you how to get more sales, they'll teach you how to get a high cash month and how to do a live launch, but they won't teach you what to do with that money once you've got it. They won't teach you about all the things that you're probably overlooking in the meantime, and fully, like I say, tapping into that financial flow and optimizing your business for success. So that's kind of what prompted this episode today, because I really want to start planting the seeds of awareness for as many women as possible to get super resourceful and to really build a solid financial foundation for themselves. And this is far beyond their business. So just to kind of circle back, when I was younger, I'm thinking back now to when I was 18 and I bought my first house. That literally came from sheer will and determination. I always had this inner drive to earn money. Now, a lot of that will come from my circumstance at the time, because even at 16, I didn't live at home. I never lived with my mum from when I was probably about 13, 14. So I never had that financial security of if I make money, it's no big thing. It was literally, I had a job, like, God, I think I had my first job when I was probably like 10, you know, working in a pub, like cleaning the gardens or something. I can't even remember what I was doing, but I have always worked, and I've never had anybody that I could ever go to and ask for pocket money, or like pocket money wasn't even a thing. So I, you know, if I wanted something, I had to get the money. My mum never had the means, and then obviously I wasn't living with her, so I was that perpetual house guest, where it was like there was never, you know, like pocket money or allowance or any of those sorts of things. And I don't even know how I got clothes and all the things, because I certainly didn't even leave home. And I remember I moved in with one relative, and I left literally not knowing that I wasn't coming back. So I think I went back and got a few bits that I had in a carrier bag, but I literally like started a brand new school and all the things with nothing. So I don't know, maybe I had more support than I realized, but definitely when it came to moving into my adult years, I always had this sense of like, the more money I make, the safer I am. Like, I can't rely on anybody but me. So I'd already kind of started to identify that the only way to do that, because equally being like 18, I'd started in a office job, but certainly they weren't paying the kind of wages that they pay now, and they certainly weren't paying enough that would afford like a mortgage, you know, like this was kind of like crazy money as an office intern. So I think my first full-time contract was like £7,500. Like, can you imagine? And the full circle moment for me now is that my one-to-one clients pay more than that to work with me for like just an hour a week. And it's insane that that was my blood, sweat, tears and identity, that job for so many years, and I'd started at such a low salary. But obviously for me then thinking, well, I'm not going to not have my own home, and I'm not going to not have a nice life. What can I do? So intuitively I knew the only thing that I've got right now, because I haven't got any skills to leverage, because I'm still just learning and I'm very much in my business journey, so I can't even like go and freelance somewhere else. I didn't have any transferable skills. Obviously social media wasn't even a thing. I don't even think Facebook was around then. I'm a little bit more seasoned than others, and the internet wasn't really that much of a thing either. Like, that was kind of like taking off. So it was just like, well, all I've got is my time, and if I am happy to sacrifice, obviously now I know there's easier ways to make money, and we are living in such a time of financial abundance. Like, I can't even tell you how grateful I am for the way that I get to live my life now and be super present with my kids, and be at home and living and not have to take anybody else's shit or crap, and just to literally live my life on my own terms. Like, genuinely, what a time to be alive, because I have done my time, like earned my stripes with the awful bosses, the outrageous corporate situations, with the toxic exes and all of the things. Like, this feels really amazing to really be in this season of life where it is like my time. But thinking back to that time, you know, £7,500 really wasn't going to cut it in terms of what I needed, not only to pay for the deposit, but also then, you know, manage a house that needed renovations. So the only thing I could leverage was my time, and I literally worked my ass off. So I remember, and I laugh about it now, but it's like, where did that drive come from? Where did I have that already in me, that I just got this sense of like urgency? You know, I never took anything for granted. I worked like my full-time office job, and obviously I was fully committed, fully present, because I knew that that was my future, and the more skill set that I could acquire, the more valuable I would become, the more that I could then command a bigger salary. But I did that, like worked till like 5, half 5, 6, and then I used to drive from there into a call center job that I worked in the evenings, like 3 nights a week, and then at the weekends, and literally like get changed in my car. Like, I'd take all my lunch, had to be so bloody organized so that I could then also have my dinner. I would start there at around 6, and then I'd be there till 10 o'clock at night, and that would be in the evenings, and then also at the weekends. So and what would happen then on a Friday night, and I used to laugh because equally I wasn't prepared to completely sacrifice everything. So a lot of the times, like I purposely got this call center job because it was in Watford High Street and that was the place to be, right? Growing up, literally we were out in town like every night of the week practically. So it also worked out really well that I was also then there, didn't have to pay for parking. I'm not silly. But I used to like not want to miss out on this time with my friends, because I also wanted a larger than life, extraordinary life. And I traveled and I did so many incredible things like over that time with that money. And I look back now and I'm like, wow, I have lent such a great life, you know, hired private islands in Venice, lived in Dubai, like worked in Cairo, across Europe, and like private dining on a yacht in the Nile. Like, I've had the most insane life, which I'm so grateful for. And that just came from that inner desire of like, I'm not prepared to settle. Like, I am not prepared to not have an extraordinary life. What can I leverage? Okay, it's my time. And really, I wasn't giving up very much, because what would I have been doing otherwise? Sitting at home and just pottering about, maybe going, I even went to the gym. I used to go to the gym at 6 o'clock. Like, where this energy came from, I don't know. Obviously before kids. Yeah, so I would then Friday nights and even Saturdays, I would work 8 till 8 on a Saturday and 6 till 10 on a Friday. I would literally like do my fake tan, get my makeup ready, be sitting in a call center with my hair in curlers, getting ready for my night out. And then my friends would either come and meet me there for pre-drinks, or they would go and to the bar, and I would come down and run down and meet them at 10 o'clock when my shift finished. And then when they were all dying and absolutely hanging the next day at home in their onesies, I would be back at the call center at 8 o'clock the next morning. And I think I actually slept there one night, so I was like, there's no point even going home. But that's what kind of like makes me chuckle. But I always had that inner drive, and I think that again is what sets me apart as a business coach, is that I always had that entrepreneurial spirit and I didn't even know it. You know, I always spotted those opportunities to make more money and really leverage something and make more of it. So then how that translated in business was, and equally, I was always that girl that was just super intuitively savvy. So at the time when I got my mortgage, I think it was what they used to call like a Virgin One account, where it was like an offset mortgage, where you could, your mortgage and everything is essentially in one current account. You get your wages paid in, all of the interest that you would then pay on your like wages, all of the interest, the money coming in offsets against your mortgage. You then get a credit card, because I thought, I can take this one step further. If I get a credit card and put all of my bills on my credit card, then those wages stay in that account for longer. I'm going to get even more interest. That's going to then offset even more of my mortgage, and then I'm going to end up paying less on my mortgage. I intuitively always overpaid my mortgage. Nobody ever told me to, but it just made sense to me that if I pay it off quicker, I'll be paying less interest. And then, like, why would you not? Equally, I was always a person that was moving around credit cards. I was always using top cashback when that became a thing. I was always looking for the best deals and not afraid to haggle or barter or hustle a little bit to get a discount. I was always, if I'm going to do something, like, I always was making it to the fullest potential of that opportunity, whatever that was. And then how that has now translated into business is that I always make sure I never put my eggs in one basket. I always make sure that my money is working as hard as it possibly can for me, rather than me working as hard as I possibly can for my money. And I think that's what really sets me apart as a money mindset mentor, because I'm that hybrid, and as a business coach, because I have been this person for 20 plus years. This isn't, I read a book and felt inspired. This isn't, I did a bit of work myself, so now I'm healed and let me support others. This is literally, this was who I was, and it's in my human design chart from a very young age. And obviously a lot of that's come from my experiences that probably created that drive. But equally, I would be sharing it with anybody that would listen. I'd be like, girl, why don't you do this? Like, I bought land before it was even a thing. I was buying, for me, like buying second properties, third properties, fourth properties, investment properties, and created a portfolio of 7 figures by the time I was 25, with not one person encouraging me, including my partner at the time, along the way. Everybody else was like, oh my God, that seems like so much work. Oh my God, like, really? What if it goes wrong? Like, everybody else was catastrophizing. When are you going to be happy? Aren't you exhausted? Like, that just sounds like far too much work. But I was always like, no, why would you not want to do these things? And I look back now as like a 41-year-old woman who's like, oh my God, I'm so proud of that version of me. Like, that was innate. I never had anybody ever supporting me or encouraging me or helping me. I never had any mentors. The only mentor I ever had, and literally it makes me cry, is Sarah Beanie, because she was like the face, she's like a property investor in the UK. She was like the face of this show called Property Ladder, I think it was. And I remember this was before the day of YouTube and all the things, and I bought her book, which was like a developer's Bible or something, and I've still got it somewhere on my bookshelf, because that was my only source of, I cannot be mad. Like, other people must think the same way that I do. And I felt so lonely and made to feel like really guilty, really shameful, like you're only motivated by money, like when will you ever be happy, like when is it never enough, and all the things. That was the only sense of like, no, she gets me, like she doesn't even know me. But I just remember feeling like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'd love to tell her that one day I'm going to manifest a meeting with her, because genuinely I don't think she knows what her legacy is. And that for me just created so much comfort and so much kind of just confirmation that it's okay to be different from everybody else around you. It doesn't make you a bad person to want to have money and to want to make the most of these opportunities and live an extraordinary life. It's okay to want those things. And I know some people have communities where it's celebrated and that excellence and all of the things are celebrated, but that absolutely wasn't my experience. So I was thinking, reflecting on that, and I was like, yeah, that's so interesting, because I don't bring enough of that into my story when I think about presenting myself online. And you know, it's only because I've been reconnecting with that journey in my book, and then obviously having that conversation the other day, that I was like, I need to mention this more, because equally this is what I intuitively filter down with my clients. And the reason for today's episode is because as women, we aren't like encouraged to be super savvy with money. I still have clients that have to defer to their husband if they want to spend money, even though it's in their development, it's in, you know, it's just as much their money. And as much as we want to think as women that we've moved on and evolved and all the things, there are still just things that are such an ingrained belief that we don't even notice it anymore as a thing, but it's still there. So yeah, I thought even with my clients, like especially the ones like coming up, I'm definitely getting them into thinking things like profit first. How do you make sure that your business is really profitable from the outset? And that comes from, you know, being really, really realistic with how you're pricing your services and taking into account your time, your energy, as well as the physical expenses. And it's about, because ultimately this what I'm actually talking about is sustainability, right? It's not about just having loads of money so we can sit here and have a bougie life, although I'm totally here for that as well. But it's about the more money is the fuel for fuel for your business to continue its growth and essentially make it sustainable. That's what I'm talking about, sustainability. No one wins if you cannot figure it out when it comes to your money and your business, and you're not here in 6 months. You know, your clients don't win, your audience doesn't win, the universe doesn't win. But also it's that fuel that enables you to live a life of true alignment, who you are meant to be at a spiritual level. You know, it's the difference between you being able to say no to clients that don't feel aligned. You can show up with a whole new energy and boundaries when you know that your basic human needs are met and you have safety around your financial situation. But also so that if you want to support your family, if you want to start a charity, if you want to follow a class or a nudge or just, you know, some sort of inspiration, passion, you can do that because you've got the money to do that. That's the reality. Money is just a conduit or a tool or a fuel to, you know, just burn everything else that you want inside you and outside of you to make it bigger. So I've obviously managed to do the work and now don't have that guilt and shame. But so this is what I kind of support my clients with doing. So the first thing that you need to do in order to really fully tap into that financial flow and potential of your business is to ensure that your pricing is right, you know, so that it is sustainable and so that you can continue to grow and invest not only in yourself, but in your team and scale your mission and your purpose. And one way to do that, what I love to do with clients, particularly because I work with heart-led entrepreneurs, right? Women that have got a real soul's purpose and calling in what they're doing. They want to be of service. So where they can really struggle is then pricing their services in a way that they still feel accessible to the people that need them. Well, the reality is, guess what? Some people aren't going to be able to afford you, and that's okay. But because you can serve them in other ways. So one thing that I love to do is create an offer suite that actually acts as a ladder, so that you have different access points for people to work with you along different points of their journey with different levels of proximity, and will give them different levels of transformation. So the people that maybe can't necessarily afford you right now, like you have something for them. You're not turning them away, even if it's just your free content or a free Facebook group. Obviously, I've got my podcast, I've got my Facebook group, I've got my YouTube, my blog, my book. Like there's lots of things that I've got free resources on my website that would serve somebody who needs me but can't necessarily afford me right now in a one-to-one capacity. You then also want to have a low ticket offer for the people that, you know, and focus on one element of your transformation, of your journey that you can support them on, so that they can go away, get those quick wins, implement what it is that topic is about, and then move and then come back, you know. So for me, with money mindset, it could be they're not necessarily going to invest in my £1,000 bootcamp. Okay, that is my like holy grail. All of the things, that's energetics, mindset, spirituality, practical strategies, it's psychology, like physical body, regulating your nervous system. That is the whole shebang. When it comes to money, you do not need anything else. But if you cannot afford that, then you've got my free content, my free resources on YouTube, but also I've got a low ticket masterclass, which is still going to plant the seeds of awareness and give you enough of a transformation to get you moving to somewhat a better income and somewhat of a transformation. If you want to go further, that's when you lean into my bootcamp. And what is that for you? So what I would love to invite you to today is actually map that out. Like, how can I meet people at different points in my journey so it still feels good to me that I'm being in service, but it's also honoring my boundaries and what I'm bringing to the table, and the transformation that my client is going to get by undergoing this work. Then you want your mid-tier offer. So for me, that's my academy. That's for women who want to hit those 10K months in the most sustainable and aligned way. Because obviously I work with human design and lots of different strategies. That's my signature home. That is the most accessible price point to really work with me over a 12-month period. I've also got my standalone self-study courses, because you also want to add in an element of passive income, something that doesn't require an exchange of energy, and really ensuring that you are leveraging the shizzle out of all of the assets that you've currently got in your business. So what workbooks have you created? What audios have you created? What checklists? What downloadable products? What little masterclasses have you created in your business that are just essentially sitting somewhere on your drive, like dying, or somewhere on, like, that could be utilized and put onto a members portal? So I created a Dream Life workbook probably about 3 years ago, and that's now on Amazon, making me a completely passive income and generates me money every month. It could have just gone to die on my like G Drive, but instead it's on Amazon and it's making me an income. So what is that for you? What assets in your business have you got that you are just allowing to sit there and die, basically? How can you utilize that so it continues to be the gift that keeps on giving, not only for you but also for your clients? You know, unless it's completely outdated, I am sure that will still be of service to somebody who is not quite far on in their journey than you are. So what is that? So I've got my mid-tier signature offer, and I always tell my clients you need like one high ticket offer and one scalable offer. And that is pretty much it. If you can only do those two things, then you're good to go. I know that there's lots of different opinions online about when to add in like group programs and scalable offers. But for me, as long as you don't attach any sense of ego and you can still protect the integrity of the experience that you're creating within that community or scalable offer, like you can do that anytime in your business. And you are the person that then, as the leader, as the guide, advises your leads or your potential clients as to what is the right offer for them. And then also I've got my mastermind, so I've got my high ticket offer, and then I've got my premium offer, which is one-to-one. So it means whenever somebody comes to me, I'm never leaving money on the table. It's never like, well, it's this offer or see you in 3 months when my next free program runs. It's like, no, I can help you today, and if it isn't this, then it'll be this. Like, there is always a home that I can find for you and for anybody that comes into my business. Do you have that smart offer ladder in your business? Because the good thing is as well is that not only are you never leaving money on the table, and you're already always like leveraging every good, incredible unicorn potential dream client that comes your way, but also you're giving people that are in your current audience that have already bought from you once, they're 80% more likely to buy from you again. You're giving them a very clear path of ascension, very clear path of evolution, of growth, so that they can stay in your world for longer. I've got clients that are still working with me nearly 5 years later, and they just continue to move on and graduate from the next offer to the next offer, or they, you know, they've gone up, they've come down, like, and they'll do all the things, but there's never nowhere to send them. Like, you could just keep, this party could keep on going forever if you wanted to. I've always got somewhere to put you. I've got ones that are more business focused, ones that are more soulful, ones that are more mindset. Like, I've got the whole thing. Now, obviously, I've been in business a long time, but even just from the outset, like I say, if you've got that scalable offer and that high ticket offer, you're good. And you've got a really great foundation for a sustainable business, because that's ultimately what it is, what it's all about, right? So you need to start with sensible pricing, and that comes from having that offer suite that means that you can really honor and your boundaries and the integrity of yourself, you know. So you're never like having to lowball your prices, because you know that there's always somewhere else you can send someone if they can't afford the thing. And I think that just having that can give a lot of those heart-led entrepreneurs a real sense of comfort and peace when it comes to really stepping into their financial power around their pricing. So that would be my first thing. But also, you know, it's about building monthly recurring revenue and all the things, but equally it's about having a commercial awareness to think beyond your business. You know, as I said, every bit of money that comes my way, it is leverage the shizzle out of. You know, it will be, if I'm going to buy something online, I'm going to use the top cashback site. If not, if they don't do top cashback, I'm going to put it on my rewards credit card. If not there, it's going to go somewhere and it's going to work harder for me. It's going to, if I'm going to give you money, you're going to give me something back. And that's the mindset that I have as a consumer, but also as a business owner. You know, affiliate schemes are something that are massively overlooked. If there's a brand that you work with, like that you absolutely feel really passionate about, do they offer an affiliate commission? If you refer somebody business, do they ever either send something back your way or give you a commission for that? Do you know what? For the first few years of business, I never asked any of that. It didn't even necessarily occur to me as such. But as soon as I realized it was a thing, I was like, oh, well, if this is available to me, why the hell would I not? And I've actually referred over £60,000 worth of business to other female-led businesses in the last like 3 to 6 months alone. Now, did I do it for the affiliate commission? Absolutely not. I did it because that's in alignment with my values. But equally, if there is a commission to be paid, do you think that I'm not going to get it? Yes, I'm going to get it, because it's about sustainability. If all, you know, the amount of revenue that comes into my business does not rely on that personal energetic exchange alone, then it means that I can keep on doing this forever. I can do this if I'm sick. I can do this if something comes up with my kids. I can do this if I end up with another business that takes me off track. Like, I'm always going to be in receipt and in receiving mode in my business, because it's never just one thing. I've got so many ways that money can come to me. It means that I can really protect the integrity of my containers and my communities, because I'm not like, sell it high, pile it high, because I need as much money as possible. I've only got this one thing, and if I don't make money in this, I'm screwed. I don't have to do that. I don't have to max out my masterminds and my academies where it's scaled to a point of like, who are you again? I can keep those super intimate and protect the integrity of them, because I've got lots of different revenue streams. I'm not reliant on those 2 offers to pay my bills, you know. But equally, like I say, it's about being resourceful as a woman, and really having that beautiful energetic exchange with money around, like, even like the kids' clothes. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not very good with this, but potentially, you know, I do buy the kids nice outfits, like designer, and not all the time. I'm very mindful of like, that's going to get dirty in a minute. Won't bother. That will be a Primark job, that'll be a H&M job, that'll be a Zara job. But if it's something where it's like, I want to get a nice picture, I want to do a nice thing, like, I'll buy a nice outfit, because in theory I could sell that on. Like, designer brands hold their value very well. So, and kids clothing is constantly, you know, like up, like, just, it's a constant turnover. They're like bloody giants, my kids. Like supermodels. It's so funny, like my teenage daughter is 12 and she's taller than me, and I'm like, what the hell? Where's it, like, how they do not make kids the same, honestly. But there would be no point me investing in a lot of designer stuff for her, because you know, as much as I believe in, you know, buy it well and buy it once, she is going on a massive growth spurt, so there's really no point, in her fashion sense is all over the place. So but in theory I could sell on some of the coats and the bits that I've got now. Do I? Not always, because that's not always good use of my time, but potentially I could. And if I had more time, absolutely, those are the kind of things that I would full circle back to, because it's just about, again, like being resourceful, understanding that there are so many ways that abundance can come to you outside of your business, that just mitigates the risk. I'm always thinking many eggs, many baskets. Like, obviously I'm a manifesting generator and I have lots of different revenue streams inside my business, outside my business. Like, I was buying land before land was even a thing, but equally like there's new property strategies and stuff that are going to be a great return for me as I now start to build up my portfolio again. There has never been a time to literally make money, like genuinely. And that's what's really exciting, especially not only for me as just somebody who enjoys it from a place of like, I just love it, because I just have so much gratitude for what money can do for you, that I'm always going to be a receipt and just thank you so much, that's amazing. But equally, I truly believe that as a woman, that's how you become financially independent and empowered, is by not having to rely on one thing to keep you safe. Because really the only thing that you should be relying on is yourself. Like, you are the one that provides that safety for you. It's not the money or anything outside of yourself. It's not your business. It's not your social media manager. It's not your lead generator. It's not anything. It is you. But equally, the way that you can really start to honor those boundaries and really tap into the full abundance that is available to you in this lifetime is by being super resourceful and looking for those opportunities to work smarter and not harder when it comes to your money. So this could be credit cards, moving them around. It could be getting a loan. You know, I'm very much in the mindset of leveraging debt in order to create a really great investment. You know, if you're about to invest in a mastermind, rather than just going for the pay monthly options, could you get a loan, and would that work out better? Not that I charge interest on my mastermind, but, you know, would that work out better in the long run? Would there be bonuses that would be available to you? Would perhaps the repayments be better, more manageable, like more on your own terms? Like, that's definitely something that I've done. I've put a mastermind on a credit card before because I didn't want to have to adhere to their payment schedules, and I wanted all the bonuses. So hello, and I want the reward points from my credit card. So I am not silly. Where are you missing those opportunities right now to really tap into that full abundance? And obviously for you in your business, that I've got 27 revenue streams, right? And at the end of every year, I go through and record an exclusive podcast episode where I will share like the financial breakdown of my business and what's worked for me, what hasn't. And I think last year, I didn't even have one-to-one high ticket clients for the first 6 months of the year, because the baby was still young and it just I wasn't in that season of business where I wanted to hold space in that level of proximity. So I was then launching group programs. I had a membership, I had an academy, I had lots of different things going on. Looks very different to this month. So you can always go back and scroll through and look at my previous podcast episodes if you're curious as to how I created those 27 revenue streams. But it will be absolutely like some of the smart strategies that I've shared with you in this episode. And obviously, if you are really ready to dive into like creating a wealth. So again, like my mastermind, the 7-Figure Sisterhood, I would love to make an official invitation for you to come and join me there, because that is where the academy for me, so my Aligned, Empowered and Abundant Academy, that for me is all about getting the foundations in place to create a sustainable income in your business, you know, and do it in a way that feels really aligned, that really plays to all your natural sense, in line with your human design, that feels really manageable, in integrity, and all the things. That's about getting the money, like generating the money and getting in and doing it your own damn way. For me, the sisterhood is about, okay, now I've got money in my business, what am I doing with it? You know, it's about those higher level conversations, female leadership, about changing your industries. And it's about really starting to step into that rich woman, wealthy woman mindset, where it's like, okay, now I'm here for legacy. What's next? What am I doing with this money? How am I making it work smarter, not harder? Like all of the things. So if that sounds like something, so in there I have guest experts that, you know, property experts, tax accountants, investment coaches, visibility coaches. Like if you're looking to scale your business to the next level of income, that is your place to find that community. And that level of conversation where it's like, okay, we're all here as leaders of our respective industries and corners of the universe and the internet. So what is next for us? Like, what do we want to stand for? What do we want to be known for? What do we want to do with this money? How do we scale rather than just grow? How do we now create more safety and more wealth and talk about legacy? Like, that for me is just my obsession when it comes to women in business. I never just wanted to be a coach or a business mentor that was like, yes, I'm just going to teach you how to build a funnel. For me, it was like, this is the opportunity, ladies. It is to literally change the whole goddamn game for ourselves and the generations that come behind us. That comes from us staking our claim and owning our space in this world, and really aiming for that next level income and impact and legacy, and just being the change that we want to see. Like, you've got such a platform and an opportunity right now to really transform your whole life and that of everybody else around you, and everybody that is looking to you to be that leader. Are you ready for that level of that level of growth? If you are, then come and join me in the 7-Figure Sisterhood, because that is just going to be such an incredible space as we enter into the last quarter of the year. Imagine what you could do with the last 4 months of growth. And I'd love to see you there, because this is ultimately what my legacy is going to be as well. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, that hopefully you picked up on lots of little practical things that you can really do to tap into the full financial abundance and flow that is available to you as a business owner. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, all the things. Let me know your takeaways, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.